My name is Grisham. I'm going to Peru for my first year of missions, and this is my testimony. So I grew up in a Catholic family where my mom took me to church. We would go to church every Sunday, and I grew up I had a really strong faith growing up, but it wasn't perfect. I would say I was the main one in my family to do all this kind of stuff. I have two older brothers. They're not super strong in their faith, but so growing up, I would go to church, and it wasn't really until a couple years later, my parents, they started acting a little strange and differently. Come to know my parents were getting a divorce, and my dad walked out of my life at the age of 5, and because of that kind of made me want to get into my faith a little bit more, and to have a father, a godly father, still there in my life when my earthly father wasn't present, and to be there with me. So because my dad wasn't in my life, I started getting more involved with my church. I'm going to youth group, helping out with Edge and Life Team, and that's just where I felt most comfortable. I was just happy doing that kind of things, and I was in Boy Scouts growing up, so I was very involved with my community, and just my surroundings, and that's just where I felt happy and where at peace. And come a couple years later, it was about my sophomore year of high school. Had to get confirmed, and I didn't really understand. At that point in my life, I didn't really understand the faith all that much still. I was still in the learning process, and my mom, she kind of pushed me to get confirmed, and at first I chose some saint, I don't remember which, but later on I felt that I needed to actually think about this and pray about it to see what I needed to discern this more, and to choose a saint that actually meant something to me. And so I ended up choosing Saint Maximilian Kolbe, who is the patron saint of drug addicts. And that really spoke to me because my dad was a drug addict, and just have that kind of connection, it just spoke to me that God was there in my life, showing that He was working in me as a father, being a father to me. And that same year, I attended a conference, and it was during adoration where I felt like God was also telling me to forgive my dad for just all the bad things he had done in my life, even though he still wasn't present at all. And that was where I kind of had my conversion, and where I kind of got serious about my faith, and I needed to move on and to put all that past behind me, and to continue to go forward with my life. And later on, I was introduced to Family Missions Company, to foreign missions, through my youth minister, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with poor, serving, doing missions, and yeah. So after my mission trip, nothing really special happened after that, until 2 years later I attended another mission trip, and that is when I felt like God was calling me to come and to serve Him, and to be His missionary, to do something completely different than the ordinary, rather than going to college, to serve Him fully with my entire life, and to give up everything that I have. And so I applied for intake, but at that time I was too young. I had just came right out of high school, so I did an internship, and so I had been interning for a couple months, and at that time I had been on a couple mission trips while my internship was going, and that was when my prayer life was getting stronger and stronger, and that was when I felt God was like, "You're ready, this is where I want you to be," and He confirmed for me that this is where He wanted me to be. And so that's when I felt complete and comfortable with being here full time, and so I signed up for missions, and I decided to give my life to serve.